listening to Speaking with One Voice with Rodney Payne. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, topics you'd like discussed on the show, or if you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at rpayne@onevoiceinc.org. That's rpayne@onevoiceinc.org. You can also search for us on Acast, Google Play, SoundCloud, and iTunes. Just look for Speaking with One Voice. Now, here's your host, Rodney Payne.
Hello and welcome to Speaking with One Voice. I am your host, the coach, Rodney Payne, back with another episode of Speaking with One Voice, the podcast devoted to adding value to you and your leadership team. As always, please make sure that you are following us on our social media platforms at Rodney R. Payne. Our website is rodneyrpayne.com, and that's where you can find information to get connected with us. Make sure you're also subscribing to our YouTube channel at Rodney R. Payne. Today, I want to talk to you about a subject that's very familiar. It's redundant in ways, but I want to make sure that we make this specific and drill down for leaders. So today, I want to talk to you about setting SMART goals for leaders, SMART goals. Now, when we think about goals before we make them smart, a goal is only a goal if you really write it down and you track your progress. So we have to understand that. So when you look at SMART goals, you know the acronym. That means they're specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, they're relevant, and they are time-based. So we've learned that, and as leaders, we kind of can overlook some of those things. So let's get into this thing. If you want to be successful, you're going to have to be very specific in how you set your goals. What does specific mean? Well, specific means that you're looking at this thing not just in general. Many times we have, I call them dreams or fantasies that we want to accomplish X, but we never set what X is, and then we don't drill down enough to make it where we're able to actually develop a strategy to get there. A goal is the goal, but within that goal, as a leader, you must be strategic and you must learn to develop strategies in order to achieve your goals. So when we think about this, specific, very specific, you have to narrow it down and think of a funnel that reduces itself to its lowest point to be very specific in what your goals are. I'll use one that, like for instance, on a team, you might say, we want better communication. Well, better communication is such a broad subject that it could mean anything, right? So what do you really mean? Well, we have a problem with respect in the office. So now we're getting more specific. So we want a culture of respect. So we set a goal that helps us to achieve that. So now, as you look at your goals, what I want you to think about is, so is it very specific? If it's not measurable, it's not a goal. If you can't quantify it in some way, it's not a goal. When you set a goal, is it achievable? Can you actually get there? Sometimes we set these dreams and I want to make $5 million. And that's a great goal, I guess, if you have a framework and infrastructure that supports that. So as we're digging in, let's start with specific. When you think about specific, I want you to think about a weight loss goal. I want to lose weight. It's not a specific goal. It's a specific area. I want to lose 15 pounds. That's very specific. Now, it's measurable because you said 15 pounds. Now, it's very specific, but by when? That's the time-based piece. See how it goes together? It's not a goal until you add the specific 15 pounds. It's I want to lose weight, 15 pounds. Is it achievable? It's achievable if your time is correct. So we got to get to the time base to know if it's even achievable. So if you say I want to lose 15 pounds by Tuesday, that's probably not achievable and it's certainly not sustainable, right? So you have to go through the process. Is it achievable? Is it relevant? Does it matter? Does that goal matter? Of course it matters. And it's time-based. So I want to lose 15 pounds in 3 months. Well, you know that's achievable. Why? Because it's safe to lose 1 to 2 pounds a week. So you can do the math and you can back into it. Now, if you will take this approach with everything, even within your office, whether it's your measurables, your goals, as far as your financial targets, your KPIs, or whatever it may be, you'll find yourself in a position to reach that goal. So I want to be very redundant today because I want you to get this down. You've got it, right? Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. You've got it. Write that down. Now, let's talk about the benefit of SMART goals as we continue to navigate this process. The benefit is this. When you have clear goals for your team, you create a clear roadmap for success. When you do that, now you can drive achievement. So when you have clear, well-structured goals, statistics say that you can see an increase of 20% in productivity. That comes from the Harvard Business Review. Think about that. If we're clear, we can have a 20% increase in productivity. Do you know how much erosion we have and how much loss we have just because we're not clear? Because we don't know where we're going, or we're figuring it out as we go. What I have a hard time with my leaders, I want to get you guys to do something, right? The challenge is when you are leading, you want to spend the time on the front end in development and planning before launching. When you are excited and you have a brand new launch and you're ready to go, you got a great idea, you are ready to put it out there, but you don't take time to develop it. What you do is you slow your progress down. And sometimes you don't even finish the project. I'll use a personal situation here. As an author, I've written a few books, okay? And as an author, I'm always writing. Now, when it comes time to write a book, what an author wants, and any author will tell you, is we want the book in print. We want it published. But there are things like editing, there's marketing, there's design, there's rollout, and how do you get all this done? Well, if you don't have specific time goals and strategies to roll the book out, you can't get there. And so it always takes longer than you think it will. And so I want to encourage you to do the heavy lifting on the front end. Do the heavy lifting on the front end. Take the time to develop smart goals that support a strategy for success, and watch your team improve and grow by 20% in productivity. So statistical analysis of goal setting, success rates. Understand, if you look at the statistics, what do they say? They say that you get 50% higher success rate when you clearly identify your goals. And can you imagine how much time is wasted because we don't do it? How does it go in the office? It goes like this. I wish I'd have thought of this earlier. Oh, I wish I'd have done that. And so as we're getting goals, I want to cross-pollinate this lesson with a thought. A thought is this. If you have the right players in the right positions and you allow the players to play, they will develop goals, and those goals will be department specific, it'll be strength specific. And what that will do is put you on a course, a chart to be able to get there more efficiently, and again, have more success. When you don't plan, you don't find success. You know the old adage. What does it say? When you fail to plan, you plan to fail. See, here's the key. You have to figure out how to get these goals. They got to be very specific. They got to be measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. You have to have a date. You have to have a due date. But let me think from this perspective for just a moment. As we're considering this thing, the biggest thing I can tell you as a leader when it comes to your goals is that it's great to have a goal. It's great to have It's great to have goals, even in written form. That's great. What separates leaders who win from leaders who lose is their ability to articulate, communicate, and transfer those goals. How do you get the goals that you've set from just being something we have on the wall, or something we have at an annual meeting or quarterly meeting or review, or just our measurables, to being something that you actually achieve? You become a leader who is able to not only identify goals, establish goals, but then articulate and communicate goals and transfer goals. How does that happen? Well, the best way to get someone to buy into your goals is to make sure that they're included in setting the goals. See, when you give your team ownership and you transfer this process of goal setting so that your team is trained on how to set proper goals, what will happen is it won't just be you throwing out a vision and hoping someone catches it. But it'll be a community effort, a collaborative effort, a team effort, where the team comes together and they're going to begin to present to you those things that matter most and those things that are most effective, because they know how to do it. When you fail to go to the front line, you miss an opportunity for great and critical information. So when you think about this, you have to be willing to empower your team to be a part of the goal setting. You have to be willing to give your team the space to create and also hold them accountable. You see, goals are nothing more than ink on a page or a slide on a screen until you make them personal, relatable, you make them real, and now we have to go get them, achieve them, and celebrate them. That becomes the most important thing in this thing called goal setting. So let's go a little bit deeper. How do you decide if a goal is relevant? I know I'm jumping around a bit, but I want to kind of just hit different components here because relevance matters. If the goal does not support your bottom line, your mission, your objectives, and what have you, then it may not need to be a part of what's going on. See, relevance and relatability, these two things are going to be critical for how we get into this place that I call buy-in. So when you look at your goals, what are they? I want to challenge you today. What are the top 5 goals? And I want to give you this exercise in a format that's going to help you. So I want you to have, first, I want you to set 5 personal goals. 5 personal goals. Personal goals fall into read a certain book for personal growth, or lose weight, or change my diet, or spend time with my family in this way. Figure out what those 5 personal goals are. Then I want you to figure out 5 professional or business goals. In your business as a leader, give me 5 things. Write them down. And each goal that you do for all 5, they must be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based for 5. So we have 5 for our personal life and 5 for our professional, our business life, our leadership journey. And now, listen, I've told you guys many times, I'm a person of faith. I believe that you don't have to believe what I believe, but you have to believe something. So whatever your spiritual connection is, whatever that is for you, I want you to have 5 spiritual goals. I want you to do that. Now, for every goal, they should be time-based. So I want you to do some that are immediate, some that are intermediate, and some that are long-term. Now, when I started in business forever ago, that would be your 1 year, your 10-year, and your 20-year plan. We're moving at the speed of light. How about you do some 90-day goals, 1-year goals, and 3-year goals? And when you do that, you're going to put yourself on a course. Now, these goals are not going to be the set it and forget it type goals. These are goals that you're going to check in. If it's a 90-day goal, you got to check in every 30 days. You got to make sure you're on target, right? If it's an annual goal, you have to check in on a quarterly basis. If it's going to be a 3-year goal, I want you to check in every 6 months. See, when you're measuring your progress along the way, you can then either A, say, yes, I'm doing great, or B, I might need to recalibrate this goal because either A, I'm not meeting it, or it's no longer relevant. If you never check your goals, if you write it down and put it in a pile somewhere, save it on your computer where you can't find it, what good is that going to do? So I want you to take ownership of your personal growth and development. Take ownership of your leadership. Be a leader who is willing to pay the cost up front to be good. I use this quote often from one of my mentors, Chris Robinson, and he would always tell us as he's leading us, he'd say, listen, get good first. Well, you never know how good you are without measurements. You never know how good you are unless you take your goals, and those goals should be always growing. Make sure that your goals are on a growth journey, not a destination journey. There's not a pinnacle or a peak. There's always an ascent. I'm still growing. So a leader who's growing is a leader who's being successful. That's what's happening. Every day, I make sure that I do something to add value to myself because I know you're counting on me to add value to you. So I need your help. I need you to believe in yourself. I need you to believe that you're worth it. I need you to believe that you can do better than you're doing, even though you're doing great. There's more leader in there. I want you to develop that leader. I want you to get some goals. Remember, we said 90-day, 1 year, 3-year. Let's get it done. Listen, you have been listening to Speaking with One Voice with your host, Coach Rodney Payne. As always, so glad to be with you here each and every week to add value to you and your leadership team. As always, please follow us on our social media platforms at Rodney R. Payne, at Rodney R. Payne. And we're also on YouTube at Rodney R. Payne. I want you to go check out this podcast, our other resources. Always feel free to DM us there. We'll get back with you. And if we can help you, we'd love to add value to your team. We offer free clarifying strategy sessions. Go ahead and sign up today so that you can get time. And what I promise you is that each time we talk, it's about adding value to you. So Join me on the next episode here of Speaking with One Voice, where we love to add value to you. And please, please, please follow us, like, share, comment, and I want you to hang in there. It has been my pleasure to be with you yet again on Speaking with One Voice. I am your host, the coach, Rodney Payne. Until next time, my friends, let's keep growing together.
You've been listening to Speaking with One Voice. Please remember to follow Rodney Payne on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Rodney R. Payne. We'd love to hear from you and get your feedback, so please feel free to leave us comments. And if you would, rate and subscribe to the podcast, we'd appreciate that as well. Don't forget to set up for notifications so you can get the latest updates and social media posts and get new podcasts when they're released. As always, use the hashtag Speaking with One Voice or simply SWOV on any of your social media posts. On behalf of Rodney Payne, thanks again for listening.